Hello everyone. Let's have talk about the Mughal Emperor. In this session, first we talk about Mughal succession. The Mughals did not follow the system of primogeniture, means where the eldest son gets the throne, as in the Rajput succession. There, the eldest son gets the throne, but it was not followed by the Mughals. They followed the co-passenger inheritance, where the empire is equally divided among the son. But when they followed the resulted of many conflicts and rebellions within the family. The move on the next topic, the relations with other rulers. Many Indian rulers started accepting Mughal supremacy and Mughal campaign and fought against rulers who did not obey them. The Rajput married their daughters into Mughal families to get high position in the Mughal Empire. The Sisodia Rajput did not accept Mughal supremacy for a long time, but after they were defeated, they were honorably given their land back and made vassal of the Mughal Empire. This balance, where the Mughal defeated but did not humiliate the enemy, helped them extend their rule over many parts of India. If we talk about the Akbar relationship with the others, so we get information that Akbar maintained a very good relationship with the Rajput rulers. Now, next is about the central administration and the Mansabdar and Jagirdars. Under the Mughal, all provinces in vast empire were brought under the single administration. The administrative structure was highly centralized. The main head of this administration was Raja, ruler. The emperor was a very important figure in Mughal era, whose power were absolute. Abdul Faisal says Akbar had an extremely forceful and commanding personality. Akbar was referred as a Shahenshai Akbar Azam or Akbar the Great. All the officer and the noble owed their position to the emperor. He was the highest authority and his word was law. He was the commander-in-chief of the armed force and the supreme judge on all matters of justice. The practice of Jharoka Darshan was also instituted, where the emperor would appear before the general public at an appointed hour, or the rulers try the project their part to their subject. Akbar observed many rituals to show his superiority, and he had to address as a Alampana or Jahanpana. System of governance. Uh, so the Akbar established various departments to look after different aspects of governance, and each was placed under the responsibility of separate official. In this book, he described the empire was divided into subas and governed by a subedar who carried out military and administrative functions. Each province, first we talk about uh, finance. Since finance minister, the wazir constituted to be a head of bureaucracy, but his financial power was given to the Diwani Court. The chief Diwan was responsible for all finance and revenue. His main duty was to check the treasury of the empire and maintain all accounts. He had to submit a daily report of the financial position to the king. The Central Revenue Department was divided into several branches. Each branch had a secretary and a superintendent and clerk. Next is talk about the military. The military was placed under the charge of Mir Bakshi. He personally checked the branding of all the horses and the role of soldiers. The Mir Bakshi was in charge of all military matters, including the gathering of intelligence reports. He also accompanied the emperor to the battlefield, on tours and on hunting expeditions. The Mir Bakshi was assisted by other Bakshis at the central level. The judiciary, the head of the judiciary, was the chief Qaji. He looked into civil and criminal cases. He also appointed the Qaji at the provincial and local level. Another official of the judiciary was Mir Akbar. Abul Fazl said that while the Qaji heard the cases of court, the role of Mir Adil was to execute the order of the court. The third category of officers were the Muhasaba, who were responsible for maintaining public discipline. Now, provincial administration under the Mughal, the empire was divided into province called Suba, and each Suba was placed under the governor or Subedar. The Suba in turn is divided into Parangana and Mahals. At the provincial level, the Subedar looked after the welfare of people and army. He was also supposed to take up activities such as building of sarai, means rest house, wells, garden, or rest house and roads. The revenue department was headed by the Diwan. He maintained account of revenue and salary. Military matter came under the purview of the Bakshi. Subas were further subdivided into district or sarkars. The two main officers at this level were Fauzdar and Alamguzar. The Fauzdar was responsible for maintenance of law and order. Akbar in 1570, Akbar started religious discussion in the Ibadat Khana at Fatehpur Sikri, where he invited ulema, learned religious men such as Brahman, Catholic priest, Zoroastrian priest, etc. Akbar interaction with different faiths made him realize that religious scholars who emphasize ritual and dogma are backward. This eventually led to the idea of Sulaiku or universal peace and tolerance toward all religion. According to Akbar, all religion give equal respect to all religion. Now, Mansabdar and Jagirdar. The Mughal enrolled people of all race and religion into government jobs and they were known as Mansabdar. The Mansabdari system was new form of administrative organization introduced by Akbar. The term Mansabdari means a man with mansab, a position or rank. The mansab means officer or rank. Mansabdari was a grading system to decide the rank, salary, and military responsibilities of government officials. The rank and salary of Mansabdar were fixed according to numerical value called Jat. So the higher the Jat of a Mansabdari is higher in his position in the court. The lowest rank under this system was 10 and highest was 5,000. Mansab, Mansabas between 5,000 to 10,000 were reserved for prince. The emperor personally appointed the Mansabdars. He could also follow the recommendation of other nobles and officials in doing so. Mansab rank had two elements, Jat and Savar. Jat referred to the official own status and income, and Savar indicated the number of cavalry means Savar that official needed to maintain. For example, 500 Savar maintained that official was responsible for 500 cavalrymen. Each cavalryman were expected to maintain two horses. The Mansabdar received their salary in the form of jagis, which were somewhat similar to the ikta. And Mansada received a specific number of Savar cavalrymen who were registered by the government. The branded of horse means the horse brand is Iranis or Arabic or Iran's for and salary of the Sabah. Mansabdar receives salary as a revenue assignment called Jagi, and unlike Muktis, all Mansabdar did not reside in their own Jagi, but used serving to collect revenue there while they themselves served into another part of empire. During Akbar rule, a Mansabdar's salary were roughly equal to revenue the Mughal Empire got from his Jagi. But this changed during Aurangzeb. As the number of Mansabdar increased, the number of Jagir decreased, there was more land revenue. I hope you like my video. Thank you.